My spoiled stepsister threw a tantrum because I'm the maid of honor.
No, I want to be the maid of honor.
My female 26 older sister, female 28, has made me maid of honor for her wedding, and half-sister, female 21, is throwing a fit. By the way, this comes from Swearing Bridesmaid on the OK Storytime subreddit. So for background, my sister Laura and I were raised by my mom without a dad for the first 5-ish years of my life. It was just the three of us until my mom met my stepdad. They got married and had our little sister Carrie not long after. My stepdad is an awesome guy. Before he came along, Laura, Mom, and I lived in a tiny apartment with nothing much but secondhand items and each other.
Aww.
But we were happy because we had a roof over our head and food on the table.
Aww.
My stepdad has an excellent job, so once they married and had Carrie, we moved into a nice big house, a mansion compared to our apartment, and started getting nice gifts at Christmas time and birthdays. This is what Carrie grew up with, and whereas we grew up with a lot of it too, I don't think it affected us as bad because we remember what it's like to be frugal and to not have much.
This reminds me of Keon producing versus me producing.
Oh,
Back in
yeah.
my day, I had
Yeah.
nothing.
I was like, what are you saying about
all
me?
the buttons. We didn't have a lot of buttons, and we had to do
No,
things.
We just had to do
from
it all
scratch.
manual. I remember those days.
Oh man, we had to scroll
I
the
don't.
Notion
Yeah.
by
Oh,
hand.
the scrolling,
oh my
man.
gosh.
I appreciate you, Riley.
Thank you. You're welcome.
My mom to this day is still very frugal, and we love to go thrifting or make our own items like we used to anyways. So Laura and I are very separate from Carrie in that regard. Carrie's always been spoiled, but not in a throw a tantrum and ask daddy for a new car way, but she'll ask for a $500 birthday cake and get it. Buy
What?
name brand things only, and if she can't have something for whatever reason, she'll pout for 3 days and be moody.
That does give off the vibes of cry to
Daddy, I want a
daddy.
new car.
Yeah, that is
Daddy,
that
I
vibe.
want a new car.
Daddy, chill.
So, surprise, surprise, she still lives with mom and dad and doesn't have a job on her own, and they seem to be fine with it, but whatever. Okay, the only thing I'll give her, I mean, she should have a job, but she's 21.
Mhm.
That's not like an abnormal age to live with your parents. That's kind of
No,
around the normal age to be living with your parents.
that is true. I think once you hit 30-year-olds, if you're still living with your parents, unless you're taking care
Unless
of
you're
them,
taking care of your parents.
that's
yeah.
different.
Anyways, Laura's boyfriend of 6 years proposed last year, and we were all thrilled. He's a great guy, and we all love him. Back when she first got engaged, she gave me, her friend Charlotte, and Carrie a box of beautiful earrings that said, "Will you be my bridesmaid?" And mine said, "Maid of honor."
Oh.
We were all giddy and started coming up with ideas and discussing colors and cakes and all that fun stuff, but they decided to wait a year to save and to figure out what they wanted.
Okay.
Well, 4 months ago, Laura announced she was pregnant, and as a family, we were all excited. All except Carrie,
Oh,
who
no.
remained quiet and didn't say much about it. Laura then explained that her and Alan decided they wanted to have the wedding in 2 months with about 30 to 40 people so they can really celebrate before the baby. Stepdad offered them $10K so they could have their dream wedding, but due to the circumstances, they asked if they could use most of that money on a house they were looking at instead, and he agreed, which is a great investment.
Oh wow.
That's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it.
I'd rather spend money on a house than on a
I'd rather
on a
spend money
wedding.
on a honeymoon because I don't think I'll ever afford to buy a house one day
That's true.
in this market.
That's true. Well, actually, I want to live in a compound with all my friends and family, so
Oh, I forgot we wrote that up.
yeah.
We could 3D print the house and stuff.
house.
Have you seen those 3D
have.
printing houses things?
I have. Yeah, we'll do that. So it's fine. If we all
We can
chip
afford
in,
it!
We could totally afford a house.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So Charlotte, Laura, Mom, and I have been frantically planning things, and it's been a lot of fun, except for the fact that Carrie hasn't said much about it from the start. And whenever we start wedding plans, she either goes on her phone or will not pay much attention. Finally, Laura had a talk and asked her for more input and to participate more, and Carrie agreed. When we were on our way to the dollar store to pick up some wedding decorations, Carrie scoffed and said, "Dollar store decorations? That's so tacky." You're tacky. But
I like
we-
how you do things with your eyes. Like your eyes speak a lot of words.
Oh, thank you.
That's true.
The fluttering, what you just did there, I don't think you even noticed.
I don't.
Yeah, it's crazy what you do with your eyes.
That's
It's kind
my
of wild.
eyes.
They're-
They're just very big.
they're their
They
own
have a lot
character.
of.
They really are.
But we ignored her and did our thing. When we asked if she would help us make handmade invitations, she complained again and said it'll look like a bunch of preschoolers made it and just stomped away. Finally, just recently, we were all dress shopping and Laura told us we can pick whatever dress we want as long as it's blue because she wants it to be simple and we would be paying for it ourselves.
I
and
see
then
you.
They can all be her something blue.
I see you. Guess who's about to wear white?
Carrie. So Mom, Charlotte, and I went into H&M and found beautiful blue summer maxi dresses, different styles. Mom had lace, mine is a floral cotton, and Laura thought they were perfect. Except Carrie, of course, and she wanted to buy the 2K bridesmaid designer gown she found online. My mom told her that was ridiculous. Laura's gown didn't even cost that much. So Carrie, of course, pouted and whined. So my mom gave in, and we all went to this fancy bridal shop.
Oh my.
Mom, why are you letting her do this?
Shh. Emotional manipulation.
And you let her get away with it.
Dude, I just feel bad for whoever Carrie ends up with
Yeah.
because she's been taught her whole life
That
she can get whatever she wants if she pouts. So she better be getting some men.
Better be with a rich person.
Yeah, I see an older man with multi-millions of dollars.
90-year-old man with a lot of cash.
Yeah, we know all about that.
We do. Carrie right away found a pink blush gown. It's not blue. That she had to wear, but it was 1K. Mom said a firm no. Plus, it's not even blue like the other bridesmaids.
Yep, I knew it.
My sister then said blue is the stupidest color for a bridesmaid dress because we don't even live near the ocean.
What?
What? There's so many other things that are blue.
You live under the sky. That's
Boom.
blue.
One. Lakes.
Lakes, blue.
Ponds.
You probably drank some water today.
Ooh. That's
Clear.
all I can think of that is blue.
You're looking very blue today too,
Thank
Riley.
you.
That's true. Little
Look at those
blueberry.
eyes.
You look
Look
like
at
a
those
little blueberry.
eyes.
Dude, I am. Dakota's not here, so I have to look like a blueberry for
That's
him.
true. Anyways, we all left and she had her little pout and Mom lectured her and told her this is a frugal wedding. It's in our backyard, barbecue with only 30 to 40 people. And so she doesn't need a 2K designer dress of any kind.
But this is her wedding that she's in.
Yeah, she's like, I'm a bridesmaid for this wedding and therefore it's all about me.
This wedding means so much to me because I'm in it.
Fast forward to a few days later, and Carrie says she found a dress to wear that she already had in her closet. Plus, it was blue. So we thought it was terrific. But when we went over to Mom and Dad's, Carrie strutted out in her old prom dress from high school, which is basically a puffy ball gown, but dazzled with jewels. And as anyone does after high school, she grew out of it, so her were spilling out, and it was overall not very flattering.
Oh boy.
On top of all that, she was wearing a tiara full of sparkling jewels that she claimed she bought just for the wedding.
Ooh.
So now she's the princess of the wedding?
Ooh. Oh no. I don't
Mom
like this.
and Laura were silent, and finally I felt I had had enough. So I snapped and told her that she couldn't possibly be serious. Wearing a dress fancier than the bride is one thing. Having your boobies spill out is another. But also wearing a crown on top of that? Who does she think she is?
This is her wedding.
The lord of the wedding? No.
This is the wedding that she's in.
She's
is her
in
wedding.
this wedding, therefore it is hers.
Exactly. Thank you. You're now getting it.
I get it. Carrie crossed, I'm in this room, so therefore OK Storytime is mine.
Whoa.
Carrie crossed her arms and said, I'm the maid of honor. Of course I'm going to wear a crown.
Oh.
There's been a little miscommunication.
Oh. So she just assumed.
She just co-opted, it seems.
Ooh. Or was she going to, like, the day of, steal the position?
Yeah.
Like in the office?
Little switcheroo. She was going to tie OP up and put her in the closet and
And be
become the maid of honor.
I'm the maid of honor. Or if you just, like, if Keon just sits in my seat and says, I'm the producer.
I am the producer now.
And
I'm
I-
the producer now.
And I can't sit in the seat and produce, then I am no longer the producer.
It's
I
true.
am the Riley now.
I
Yeah.
am the right now.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Mm.
This is when we all get silent until Laura speaks up and said, maid of honor? I made Amy maid of honor. You and Charlotte are the bridesmaids. Lay down the law. Well, this triggered Carrie, and she began screeching, what do you mean I'm not maid of honor? You told me I was. When? When you gave us those presents, I got earrings because I'm maid of honor.
Huh?
Now, I don't know if for this past year, Carrie really truly thought she was maid of honor and got the title bridesmaid mixed up, or if she was in denial, or just simply didn't pay any attention to detail, because I've been maid of honor this entire time, and she hasn't said anything about it until then. But this caused her to have the worst meltdown I think I've ever witnessed in my life. She's about to go Chernobyl on this.
Good one.
I truly thought people only acted like this in movies or storybooks. Whenever a Redditor would post about a bridezilla or a wedding meltdown, I always thought this must be exaggerated. But this has been the worst meltdown ever in our family. Carrie began screaming, crying. She ripped off her crown and stomped around until Dad came down to see what the fuss was about. Through her blubbering, she told Laura her wedding was all wrong. She said she should be using that $10K for a nice wedding instead of that ugly brick house her and Alan wanted, because that's what the money was meant for. She also said it was the stupidest idea ever that my sister would want to get married while pregnant because you look like a fat swan in your wedding dress.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I hate this. I hate this person.
All right, poll, kick out or nah?
Arrest.
Oh, arrest or nah?
Arrest her.
All right, arrest or
Arrest.
nah?
Honeybee says, I think Carrie needs a dose of reality.
Facts.
Big old dose. She needs a double dose.
The sad thing though, she needed that dose years
ago. Yeah,
it's too late.
She's missed all of her appointments, all of her shots of reality. Again, she rambled on to something about how blue is a dumb color because we don't live near an ocean. What a strange point. I think at this point, she's just pulling stuff out of her butt. Dad tried to calm her down, and she finally screams that if she can't be maid of honor, then no one can, and she won't go to the wedding. Because if she doesn't go to the wedding, it doesn't exist.
Ooh.
That's baby logic for you. She's like, no one can be the maid of honor if I'm not at the wedding, because the wedding cannot go on without me.
So there's no wedding.
At this point, Laura is a mess and is crying her heart out, and I'm ready to smack that little witch so hard that the crown stays off her head permanently. But before I can say anything, Laura says, fine, you can be maid of honor, you win. Laura,
no, you can't give in.
Laura, no!
You have to be
Stand
a wall.
your ground. Who cares if she doesn't come?
Wait, what's a sturdy wall?
A sturdy wall?
You have to be the wall of China here.
The Great Wall of China. Don't let anybody in.
You can't. Why?
Keep 'em
No, because if you do this, she'll just get anything she'll ever want in life.
It's true.
Oh.
If you do this, what's a place that got overrun a lot? I don't know.
Never mind.
Don't say it.
Worry.
Don't say it.
Ooh. Kingdom of Heaven. The Wall of Jerusalem came down in the 1200s.
Yeah, but they were playing all those trumpets.
No. That's a different one. No, 1200s. 1200 AD.
Oh.
And I just watched the Kingdom of Heaven movie. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, you guys put in the comments what wall falls down.
what
we all
place
fall
got overrun?
down.
Yeah.
I can only think of Poland. But there was no wall there. It was just kind of overrun a lot.
The Berlin Wall. I don't
Anyways,
know.
Berlin Wall. There we go.
We're thinking about
There we
walls
go.
falling down.
Humpty Dumpty on a wall, but that was a cannon. Okay. Anyway.
And just like that, Carrie stopped crying, and she gave a small smile before going up to her room. She's playing you all, and you're falling into her trap. Mom and Dad start arguing. Dad says there's nothing you can do to control a 20-year-old behavior. That's false. And
so
Laura had gone
obnoxious.
to the next room to call Alan about potentially canceling the wedding. Girl,
Whoa.
what? I'm so angry that I end up storming into Carrie's room to see that she's on her laptop ordering that stupid pink 2K dress. I was so dumbfounded at her that I couldn't even face her. I left and didn't say a word. Downstairs, Laura is crying to her fiance, and the parents are yelling all the while Carrie is happily in her room buying stupid crap because she got her way. I don't think I've ever been this angry. I wish Laura had more of a backbone. I would have told Carrie to not bother coming if she was going to act like that. I don't even know what to do now. I'm also hurt that Laura gave the title to her just like that because she screamed for it. I don't know what to say or do to anyone. What should I do? And quick edit, we live on a farm, so we have approximately 6 acres of open space where we're holding the wedding. It's a lot of space.
That's Average.
Okay,
To hold the wedding?
Riley.
Oh, just
No,
look
yeah.
at those 6 acres.
No, I mean, like, for a farm it makes sense, but, like, to hold a wedding, that's a lot of space to do it.
I mean, you're not going to use the whole space.
They're going to use that whole space.
No,
They're
they
gonna
probably have a
frolic.
barn,
They're
and they're
gonna
probably
frolic.
well. Okay, they must have horses that are going to frolic around.
Yeah.
They're not going to use.
Is this your dream wedding now, Sophia?
I'm frolicking. The cooks who are preparing the hot dogs and hamburgers will be wearing masks. The guests are all required to wear masks. And we have hand sanitizer bottles at every table. Sorry, I'd forgotten to include that. Personally, I wouldn't want to risk it too much, but I'll be wearing a mask and hand sanitizing constantly so I don't have to miss my sister's wedding and pray that everything turns out fine. We also have a little tap at the side of our house we use as a sink all the time that's available to guests. I forget that a lot of people right now probably aren't taking any precautions at all, so I wanted to mention we are, if at least a little.
Oh, they're talking about the virus at the
this
time.
is this is prime.
Don't say the
COVID.
word.
Okay.
Can't.
Why?
Because then YouTube will flag it.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because we might be saying conspiracy theories about it. Dude,
Okay.
it's,
The internet sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. There's so many
I
things
did
we
not know
can't
that.
say. But can you scroll up on the comments?
And there is an update.
Yes.
We got really good. Stella Hirschman 24 says, Laura must think that since Carrie is the favorite, not inviting her would cause more drama. So that's
Maybe,
probably
but
why.
like she's causing so much already. So what's the loss? in
Yeah.
not inviting her.
I don't know, dude. There has to come a time where someone puts their foot
Someone's
down.
gotta put their foot down.
Yeah.
Or she'll just keep getting her way.
She
and
has for 21
it's disgusting.
years.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
I'm just I don't know why Laura feels obliged is that the right word?
Yeah, obliged.
Yeah, to do this.
Yeah, I just think it's silly because not only are the parents letting Laura get away with things, but so is letting Carrie get away with things, but so is Laura. And it seems like Amy,
Yeah.
which is OP, I believe, is the only person who is actually like seeing Carrie for who she is.
Mhm. I agree. And Dread 4 says, send the sister to the sun so she can learn what the earth really revolves around.
Ooh,
There we go.
ooh!
Everyone in the comments tell us where we should send the sister.
That was a freaking good one.
That was a bar.
That was
a bar.
that TikTok audio from Dance Moms. Ooh, that's really bratty. That's what just went. Jared, I love that.
We know where Sophia has been all break.
Yes.
TikTok.
Also, 100% of you agree that we should arrest her.
Arrest her.
Yeah, dude.
Arrest
Put her in jail.
her.
Arrest
my
her.
gosh.
But let's get into this update. Just wanted to post an update on what happened this afternoon. When I made that post, it was already 3 days past the Carrie meltdown, so I gave it a lot of time and thought and soaked in everyone's piece of advice on here. Alan, Laura's fiance, had actually called me early this morning and asked if I'd be able to go over to see Laura because he's fed up with Carrie's BS and we need to act fast.
All right. I like
Nice,
this
Alan.
from Alan.
I was relieved to hear I wasn't the only one fed up besides those on Reddit, so I went over straight away. Laura was on the couch in her PJs, hair unwashed, and it looked like she had been crying the last few days. Oh. The image absolutely broke me, and immediately she apologized to me and said she didn't know what to do now. Alan said he had thought the three of us should all sit down with her and have an intervention. But Laura shut that down right away and said she doesn't think she could handle any more yelling. I agreed that being yelled at is the last thing Laura needs, and it should just be me and Alan. But Laura was nervous about that too. She didn't want Carrie to feel like she was being bombarded. She should feel like she was being bombarded.
Here we go. Do we want her not to feel bombarded?
Yeah.
Have stepdaddy buy her a nice little treat
She get
and
the
put
little
the
ice
treat
cream.
in the middle of the room,
Yeah.
and then everyone actually bombards
no.
her. That scared me. I thought that was a fly. The little hat on Sophia's mic ran away. That's what we got to do here. We have to bombard her.
Bombard her.
But give her, she seems to like retail therapy a lot, so I don't know if you want to help her out.
Yeah, give her a little like
Amazon
hat.
gift card.
I don't know, and then bombard her.
Yeah.
So finally, after a few back and forths, Laura decided that she wanted me alone to talk to Carrie without mom and dad. And her and Esso together made a list of things that I need to address with her so that way things don't steer off topic. Such as how it's unacceptable to yell at a pregnant woman no matter the circumstances, how disrespectful she was to criticize anything with the wedding and the name calling, and of course the most important part about her crying in order to be a maid of honor. The thing I worry about is that Carrie's gonna be like, well, you're not the wedding, it's not your wedding, why are you talking to me about this?
There's no one of authority
yeah
talking to Carrie.
Yeah.
If a sibling came up to me and said these things, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
If my dad came up to me, my mom came up to me, I think having a mom or dad would be
That's the
good.
thing. I think one of the parents
The dad.
or one of the wedding people should be
Yeah.
involved. I understand why Laura doesn't want to be yelled at, but I think Alan should maybe be involved.
Maybe not the dad because he's a stepdad, and like
No,
Carrie
it's
did
her.
grow
It's
up.
her. Carrie. That is Carrie's dad.
Really?
So
I thought it was.
It's a half
he's-
sister.
yeah,
Yeah.
Carrie is the half sister. So
got it.
that's
Okay.
her dad.
Understandable.
Third
Because
stepdad.
Laura and OP grew up together, and then they had Carrie later.
I think
Got
it
it.
would have. Well, it's Daddy's princess, but Daddy needs to set reality. for a
Daddy
princess.
needs to
Yeah.
set reality.
Bring the parents in. You have to.
I also decided to bring up with Laura about the fact that Charlotte and I, the other bridesmaid, were planning to have a fun bachelorette slumber party in a few days to help Laura celebrate. Laura's face lit up and she seemed excited. I told her it was supposed to be a surprise and Carrie was supposed to come, but given the circumstances and the fact that it's at my flat, I don't want her there anymore, and I wanted to see if Laura was fine with that. She said she was, and that she'd much rather have her other friend over instead in place of her. I told her that was completely fine, and after some more talking, I made my way to Mom and Dad's to see Carrie. As soon as I walked in, my mom asked me what I was doing there. I told her I needed to speak to Carrie. Mom looked around and in a hushed voice told me it's best I leave because the last 3 days after things were resolved, Carrie has been perfectly happy and no one in this family needs any more drama. You can't keep tiptoeing around your 21-year-old daughter. You have to stand up to her. You coward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I told Mom I was sorry, but things in fact were not resolved. They were far from resolved. That's when Carrie walked into the kitchen and asked what I was doing there. Mom tried to brush it off, said, "Nothing. Amy was just coming to get something, but she's on her way out now."
Ooh. Clap back, Amy.
But I told her, "No. Actually, that's a lie. I'm here to talk to you about what happened the other day alone." About to get
OP's doing
fiery.
no business.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm fired up right now.
Carrie didn't seem pleased, and Mom's face was as red as a tomato, but Carrie and I proceeded to go into her bedroom to talk. I firstly told her how completely unacceptable it was for her to raise her voice and scream at a pregnant woman because of how harmful it was for the baby. Immediately, Carrie scoffed and said, "No, it isn't. Don't make up lies to make me feel guilty." I told her, "What lies?" She said, "The baby's not going to be affected just because I raise my voice. It doesn't even know what's going on. You're just making stuff up." This girl, I swear. I decided it's no use arguing with stupid, so I told her, pregnant or not, this was Laura's wedding, not hers. And all of the name calling she did and harsh criticism of the decorations was completely childish and unacceptable. I then brought up the fact how her throwing that tantrum to get her way was the most childish thing I've ever seen in my life, and that if things were reversed and I made Laura take away Carrie's maid of honor job, she, Carrie, would have lost her mind. So how was it in any ways all right for her to do it to me?
Boom. Eat that.
Eat that.
Carrie.
Put that in your plate and eat it.
Yeah.
In response to that, she told me I'm acting so pathetic and that I reek of jealousy. She then said, "There's no real problem here. You're just jealous. Laura decided she wanted me after all." Girl, you bullied her into it.
This girl sucks.
You bullied her into it.
Dude, the worst part about this is that she's so narcissistic and so stupid that there is zero reasoning that will ever happen
That's
here.
the thing. Yeah, you can't talk to her because she's stupid. She's an idiot.
Yeah, it's...
She's a spoiled idiot.
Do we just like say everything and just be
Yeah.
like, okay, she knows now? But
She
she's not
knows
going to
now.
change.
And then you cut her off or you go limited
Yeah.
contact.
Yeah,
I
at this
guess.
point, there's gonna be drama nonetheless. If she does come, if she doesn't come, there's gonna be drama nonetheless. I would not have her go. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care about the drama. It's just like, let's have a fun time without the brat.
We out, but that's going to
think
affect
so.
the stepdad and the mom.
And they should be out too.
If they reason with her, you got to be like, this is not your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told her this was false. She wanted me. Otherwise, she wouldn't have asked, but agreed to make Carrie maid of honor to stop the fighting. Carrie then very smugly said there was nothing I could do about it now, so I better get over it. That's when I told her she was no longer welcome to the sleepover we had planned and that Laura also did not want her to come.
Ooh.
But now she's going to go bother Laura. Until Carrie decided to apologize to both me, Laura, and our parents for her outrageous behavior. She was no longer welcome in my and my fiance's home. Suddenly, Mom burst through the door, I'm assuming she was listening in, and went completely ape. She told me I had no right to ban Carrie from the sleepover and from my house, and that the only reason I was doing it was to get back at her. She told me I was stirring up unnecessary drama and that at least Carrie didn't mean to hurt my feelings on the other day. Whereas right now, I'm doing it on purpose. This is where Carrie begins to cry and moan about how I'm bullying her and I'm not being fair. And this is her MO. This is her MO. She's not getting her way, so now she's going to pitch a fit.
Yeah, it's the stomp your feet, get your way kind of thing, and it's rinse, repeat, recycle. It's disgusting.
Where is this mom getting this from? I mean, okay. The apples isn't far from the tree, I think. But this doesn't make sense in my head because the mom grew up as a single mother for so many years. Yeah. But you think money corrupted her? She also got a little spoiled, and that's why she's this way?
You know, sometimes it goes into like this, you have this new kid and you want to provide for the new kid and you want everything to be perfect for them.
Avery says mom is willfully enabling the victim mentality. Wow.
Very true.
I mean, the dad already did that too. He was just
they're both doing it.
Yeah.
My mom then goes over to Carrie and starts rubbing her back and says, I know, honey, she's being very rude to you right now. You didn't start anything. Gag. This mom sucks. That's when I noticed stepdad standing at the door and I said to him, do you not see all of this? Did she at least tell you she bought that pink 2K dress?
Please divorce.
Dad looked awkwardly between my mom, sister, and me before saying, I think everyone is stressed out, and no one means what they say. Sisters fight, and I know by the end of the wedding, you'll all be the best of friends again. But they were never the best of friends, and you need to wake up. At this point, I really, really had enough. I told everyone I was leaving, and Mom got up and said that discussion wasn't over. I told her actually it was over. And unless Carrie apologizes to me and Laura, I will not be speaking to her. On my way out, I heard Carrie say there was nothing she needed to apologize for, but I kept walking. To say that I was hurt and angry is an understatement, and with how my head was pounding, I just wanted some Advil and juice. So I went to the nearest drugstore. Now, this part might have been where I crossed over the line. I'm honestly not so sure. But in my last post, I didn't mention, because I didn't find it relevant, that Carrie is a boyfriend she's been going out with for approximately 6 months.
Someone likes dating that?
Whatever she's about to do.
I'm sorry, dude. That dude probably gets stepped on and likes it.
But like, that just registered. Whatever they are about to do did not cross the line. This guy should know how she acts. Oh my gosh.
Terrible. His name is Noah. He's 27, he's a hardcore Christian, and overall a really cool guy. I met him at the city's university about 2 years ago, and we had a lot of the same courses together and became pals. He and Carrie have quite a bit in common. They both love animals. He fosters animals all the time, and Carrie, at that point, was debating on studying to be a vet. So at the beginning of January, Noah moved back to our part of the city where he got a job as a pharmacist. And that's when he and Carrie started going out, which we were all cool with because he's really a great person.
Oh, dude, he's so much better than
I feel like she's gonna like Carrie cheated on him or something.
Oh,
that's what I think.
No, I don't know if she'd do that. I think she'd just be like, hey, she's being a brat right now.
Yeah,
I think that's what she's gonna do.
Because of his Christian values, he's very excited to get married and have kids ASAP.
Whoa, what?
He said multiple times he hopes to be engaged by the end of the year. Carrie is also his first relationship, which might be another reason why he's so anxious for the commitment. Give it a second, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, that's sort of the Christian male arc.
First relationship.
Yeah, you're like, I gotta marry this person. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
Have kids. They're all gonna be named after
the Bible.
Names in the Bible. Yeah, and then they're
John, Luke, Matthew,
Mark, Luke, John.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna be happy. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be great.
I love that. Like this is a perfect relationship. So again, like I said, he's getting walked on probably.
Yeah, he's getting walked on.
He's like, this is what a relationship is like.
Yeah, that's and then if they do get married, she's gonna be a trad wife. She's gonna have millions of Stanley Cups.
That he buys her everything.
Yep, she's gonna go to Chick-fil-A every day, except for on Sunday, and
she's a good Christian.
Gonna be great.
And he's like, "This is perfect. I'm so happy."
that she's gonna start a business making like I don't know, like underwater basket weaving or something. And it's gonna.
This sounds
It's
oddly
super
specific, Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who
Sorry.
do you know?
Sorry.
Anyways,
Sorry.
I got some Advil and juice and was surprised to see Noah because I didn't know he worked at this particular pharmacy. So he waved me over and saw the Advil and asked if I was sick. I told him no, just a headache from the wedding stress. He said, "Oh, Carrie never mentioned any wedding stress. She said things were going terrific." Well,
Yes!
well.
Yes!
Are you about to get your comeuppance?
Where's the tea? I
don't
want to
have
spill
tea.
some.
I'm gonna get some tea after this.
Good. You need it.
I do. I had a singular yawn.
Oh no.
This surprised me, but mostly pissed me off, so I asked him if that means she never told him about the situation a few days before. He had no clue. So I made it brief, and I told him the highlights of her name-calling, screaming, and choosing her own dress against my sister's wishes, and how now she's the new maid of honor. This surprised Noah, and he said stuff like, "Are you sure? I know Carrie. She's always hated yelling. She didn't actually make that big of a scene, did she?"
What?
I told him yes. It was all very unfortunately true. Then I told him that if she talks to him to please recommend her to some sort of therapist. He knows quite a few. And I told him perhaps she might even need medicine for bipolar disorder for all I know. I told him I am now out of her life unless she apologized, and if I were him, I would think very carefully before making a commitment to her anytime soon. He stood there and didn't respond, so I left. And when I went home, Alan and my fiance were playing video games, and they asked what happened, so I told them everything. Alan and fiance think I was in the right for everything, including warning Noah.
Okay. Poll.
Should we warn Noah? Nah.
Yeah. Warn in or
Warren.
nah. I don't know about like recommending therapy or
Yeah, I don't know if
bipolar
we needed to go
disorder.
that. Just because it's like not like he's her boyfriend.
I do the nice way. Carrie is yelling at me. She feels this way about the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm just like really stressed out. I would just mention that.
Yeah, not even like really put it on her just so he doesn't get defensive or anything. Just be like, yeah, she like kind of got really upset and was screaming at us a lot. And, you know, like I'm a little bit worried about her. And just like really be overly nice.
I
But
would've-
still warn him.
I would have been like, what do you see in her?
Yeah, what do you know?
Like
about
subtle
this
things like,
situation?
why do you like my sister so much?
Ooh, yeah. Slidey Tovez says,
Slidey
are you
Toves.
Slidey Toves? I'm so sorry. Are you warning him or are you telling him the truth
Of what happened?
of what happened?
True.
Mm.
Later on that evening, however, I got countless texts from Carrie and my mother who were furious that I mentioned anything to Noah just to start crap on purpose. I did not respond to any of the messages, and instead I blocked both of their numbers for the time being. As for Noah, Carrie has him wrapped around her little finger completely, so I honestly don't see him doing anything drastic. He sees how she is when she's pouty and how she is when she's spoiled, but I think all of that goes over his head completely. But still, I felt I needed to say something. I wish I could say I feel better and like a new woman, but I don't. I feel hurt and betrayed. It feels like my throat and my chest are clogged, and I honestly don't know if it'll ever clear. At the end of the day, Laura called me and said she really wants me as her maid of honor, but in order to keep the peace, she is choosing Carrie. For now, I will swallow my pride and my pain and support my favorite sister in anything she decides, and I'm going to love my new niece and nephew to bits. Thank you everyone for listening, and if you have any more advice or words of wisdom, I'm all ears. And there is another update.
Oh my gosh.
Yo.
We had a good comment. B Hope Arts says she's hiding herself from him and won't be able to keep up the facade after
Yeah.
the wedding. Warn him and walk away. OP did the right thing.
No, she's definitely going to show this like true self in a couple months or a year or something.
Yeah. Hashtag save Noah.
Says
Tony,
Spiliakos.
that is true.
No, it's also really frustrating. I mean, it must be incredibly frustrating as OP to once again have Laura just concede. Be like,
Yeah.
you know what? Oh, it's fine. This is what she wants. I don't want to cross drama. Honeybee85, thank you for the £2. Anyone else think Stephen King hearing Carrie? Yeah, she's going to have a bunch of pigs dropped on her at the wedding. Josephine Midolberg-Queese, thank you for the 27 sec. Keon, so beautiful. Please give us a big smile.
That's so
Love
sweet.
you.
It's like, it's so good to be back.
Dude, we haven't pimped out Keon in a minute.
In a hot minute. In a whole
Wild.
week.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, I got a little stubble here. Sorry, guys.
Little stubble. Whitney, thank you for the $25. Love catching alive. Wish me luck. Might have COVID/flu. Oh, I flew to NYC in 2 days. Pray for a negative.
Ooh.
We'll be praying.
Everyone's getting sick, man. I got sick on Christmas Eve.
She-
No, it wasn't the virus. But it was
She was
something.
telling me about it. She's like, I'm bedridden.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm so tired.
One of my friends called me and he was like, "Hey, like, how are you?" And I was like, I can't talk.
Aww.
Yeah. I was sad.
At
But you
least-
could read your
yeah.
new recipe book.
No, I was like, I couldn't do anything.
Oh, never mind.
I was literally like, I didn't even watch movies that day. Like it was that bad that I couldn't even enjoy being sick. And you're like, eating soup and watching movies. I couldn't even do that.
How many times did you
Have
get
I been
sick
sick
this year?
So freaking much because I lost my voice for 2 weeks in January.
Yeah, the first of the year.
The first of the year, I completely lost my voice for 2 weeks.
Sometime in March.
Sometime in March for sure.
May, whenever we got back from Paris.
Was I sick?
I think so.
I must have been sick for a little
Whenever
bit. Yeah.
Sam got back from
New
Sophia,
New
you're
York.
just sick.
Yeah.
she at least
And then
7
this,
to
yeah,
8
at least
times.
7 to 8 times.
You know how many times I've got sick this
0.
whole
It's
year?
so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
on wood.
My thing is that Riley drinks so much of an energy drink
Oh yeah, dude.
that has vitamin C in it that I think that you've
Yeah.
like
That's
killed
definitely.
anything inside of you.
Yeah, it's like super vitamin C.
Yeah.
Too,
I get like
with all the other stuff
Like
in
you're
there.
getting so much other side
Yeah.
effects, but you will never get sick again.
I will never get sick again.
Yeah.
Miss
but there is
Silver
an update.
Tier, thanks for being a member for 8 months.
Woo!
Love being able to catch a live. Work has slowed down and I can be around more again. Yay!
Yay.
Happy to see you all live. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And yes,
Happy
Stella,
New Year.
it is really nice because I ate so much dirt and ladybugs growing up that I will never
Why
be
would you
sick
eat
again.
ladybugs? Why did you eat ladybugs?
I don't know. We were talking about all the things I ate when I was 5, and that was one of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But there is an update, so let's get into it.
Yeah, look at that poll though.
Oh,
Someone said don't tell the
98%
boyfriend. Who
born.
Who said not to
Who
tell the
said to?
boyfriend?
They just want to be messy.
You just like chaos. You just like to see people fall.
Hey y'all. So if you haven't seen the previous posts, I'll link them below. First post was here on the group. Second was on my profile because it got removed from here. So here is what I'm thinking is the final update on what happens with my sisters. So it was about 2 weeks. I think it's all been a weird blur since I had that talk with Carrie, and I had since then blocked my mom, dad, and Carrie on everything, just hoping things may settle on their own. Well, it didn't exactly settle. But here's what happened. About 2 weeks after everything, my fiance and I were just chilling late one evening watching TV. It was about 2 a.m. when my fiance gets a phone call from Carrie. Oh my God, she's threatening him. She's like, "Hello, it's not Carrie, but I'm threatening you. Watch your back." He had never blocked her number or mom, so at first we just left it, not wanting to deal with whatever Carrie was wanting to talk about at 2 a.m. But then, right after we ignored the first call, she called a second time and left a voice message telling my fiance to pick up the phone ASAP because there's an emergency. Right away, he called back, and all we could understand from Carrie was something was going on with mom, and she didn't know what to do. We hurried over there and were greeted by Carrie, who told us mom was acting hysterical and she didn't know what to do. When I asked where stepdad was, she said that they had gotten into a huge row a few days prior and he was now staying at a hotel somewhere. She led us over to mom's room, and on the way there, I could see the family photos that were hung up in the hallway were either lying on the floor or smashed.
Oh my gosh.
It seems that the tantrums do run in the family.
Ooh.
When we entered the bedroom, however, mom was calming, watching a TV show. She looked over to me and said something along the lines of, "Well, if it isn't my only daughter." Her speech was incredibly slurred, so it was hard to hear, and Carrie told me not to pay any mind to what she was saying because the last hour she's been out of it and saying off things. I thought maybe mom was going to start shouting or something, but instead she continued to watch TV. Is she having a mental breakdown?
Yeah, I think so.
No, this is a normal Tuesday night.
It's just
Sophia.
I asked
Tuesday.
Carrie if mom was wasted, and she said she wasn't sure, although she knew she had some wine earlier.
So that's a yes.
Apparently, Mom had been saying weird stuff that just made no sense at all, then started screaming and shouting about broken families being stuck in the picture frames, so that's why there was that mess in the hall. As I was questioning Carrie, my fiance decided to call the emergency line to get Mom an ambulance. Honestly, I would take her to the hospital.
Think so?
Yeah, based off this reaction? Yeah, because it seems like nobody knows what to do.
Dang, that would have not crossed my mind.
Really?
And I'm usually the guy that calls 911.
If I started behaving like this, you wouldn't call the hospital?
I
I'd
just
get you ice cream.
Yeah, I would just get you some soup.
If I start screaming and throwing pictures on the wall and slurring speech, you should probably call the
I'm
hospital.
like, no, she's fine.
But don't get me an ambulance.
Yeah,
I
those are
swear, if you're
expensive.
making me pay
They're pricey.
$2,000 for an ambulance, you're a bad friend.
I'm probably just gonna
Drive me to the hospital.
Like, my aunt, if you start doing that, I'm probably just gonna leave
What?
and have Sam deal with you.
It's terrible.
But if I'm the only one,
yeah,
I'd
you're
probably.
the only one here.
Well, okay. To be honest,
Unbelievable.
if
I would
you were
drive
acting that way and I had to get you a hospital, I have to like tie your arms up so you wouldn't
I'm
hit me
so
while I'm
weak.
driving. While I'm driving,
Actually, I'm pretty strong now.
yeah. If I'm driving and taking you to the hospital,
Oh yeah.
what am I gonna do?
I don't know.
I'll call the
yeah.
firemen. They can deal with you.
Mm.
They're pretty strong.
It's ridiculous.
That'd be fun for you.
For me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Why?
because it's the firemen.
Oh, because it's the fireman.
firemen. Or we could call the West Hollywood
Yeah.
firemen if
Are they
that's
attractive?
not what you like.
Yeah,
I don't
usually
know.
they are.
Okay, we'll find out.
I don't know.
Have you ever been to one of those shows with
The
the
fireman
poles
show?
and the
No.
firemen?
It's okay.
I thought like girls do that all the time.
What? He asked Carrie if Mom was on any medication, and apparently she was on something for anxiety and depression, which I had no idea.
Ooh.
I knew Mom had anxiety issues, but I never knew much else. Once fiance got off the phone with an emergency line, Carrie went and grabbed us the bottles of Mom's medications to bring to the doctors, while fiance tried to get a hold of my stepdad. I asked Carrie if she contacted our other sister, and she said no, because she didn't want to cause any unnecessary stress for her or for the baby. Oh, so now she
Okay.
gets it. Now she gets
We
it.
get a slight improvement,
What?
maybe. I'm predicting that
What are
she's
you
going to
predicting?
become a better
Yeah,
person.
the mom's going to kind of have a freak out, and she's like, I have to step up.
She's like, I can't become this
Yeah.
for Noah because I don't want
I
to
gotta do
Noah
it for Noah.
because I don't want him to know about this.
True. It's funny.
I saw Kimberly.
hate that. I hate that.
Kimberly finded it.
You
joke
thought
like
you
that
could
earlier.
slide that in there without me
Yeah.
noticing?
Yeah,
You're not sly.
You're not slick.
It may be a Monday, but you're not sly. That was
Oh,
disgusting.
She then went on to admit that she knew I was right, wow, the entire time when I told her that stress could affect a pregnancy, but just didn't want to admit it before. I decided now wasn't the time to argue and just kept my mouth shut. Eventually, the paramedics came, and just as they did, Mom started screaming in hysterics again, screaming and yelling stuff that I don't even quite remember because it was garbled and didn't make sense. Something about her needing to stay to feed the baby.
Uh-oh.
What is going
Tumor?
on?
A
Yeah,
lot of
she's
people
unwell.
in the comments said she might be having a stroke.
That's what I was thinking. This like the
Like-
slurred speech.
And like this is a little bit wild.
We all went to the hospital, and eventually fiance finally got a hold of stepdad, and he arrived much later. Where was stepdad? But the doctor figured with the amount of stress and with her and dad's constant fighting, plus with the mixture of booze and her medication, turns out she had drank quite a bit that night, it was like she just sort of snapped and she became somewhat confused/disoriented. He also figures Mom hasn't been taking her medication properly. Physically, Mom was perfectly fine, but they're keeping her in for a few days just to keep an eye on her. Due to virus, I haven't been able to visit her or see her until she gets released, but Dad was able to go in and verify a few things, but as far as I know, he's not really allowed to stay with her either, and was only able to see her that night she was admitted. As for the actual wedding stuff, while Carrie and I were driving back home, she had told me that Laura had texted her a few days before and told her that I was still going to be maid of honor. The decision was final, and she would not be answering her or our parents' phone calls or texts about the matter. Finally, Laura is standing up for herself. We love it.
Let's go.
Hearing this has led to more fighting between Mom, Dad, and Carrie, and shouting, and that's when things went mostly downhill. Neither Carrie or my parents have spoken to Laura in a few days since. I was completely taken aback, especially since Laura never told me this herself. I tried getting more information, but Carrie was pretty much silent the entire way back home. She did have a little speech prepared about how she might no longer even consider me her sister again. how betrayed she was by everything. And I just let her talk and didn't have much to say. I was too tired to fight or do anything, and she had nothing else to say about the wedding or Mom's breakdown, and I haven't spoken to her since. Currently, I am looking for family therapy for the very near future. I'm not sure what's available since the virus, but I plan on getting in touch with Mom's doctor to see if he has any suggestions. I had told Alan when it happened, and I'm hoping he will be able to tell Laura without her stressing out too much. I suggested he keep it vague and to tell her Mom was completely fine. This all started because of wedding plans, but I guess we just had our problems from the start and it escalated. I think you had the problems from the start, and it was just the wedding that gave them a chance to shine. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer. It's all been a bit foggy for me, so I may have left out important details, and there is, I think, a final update.
Ooh, I am predicting they have the wedding.
Yeah.
Carrie
shows
back.
up, and she says, I object!
No. I think Carrie becomes a good person now.
Oh,
Carrie's a good guy.
She turns around.
Because the mother has gone completely AWOL. She's like, I can't be like that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going. And she's had a reality check.
Yeah.
I think she's got that reality dose people were telling us about.
I think it's coming.
It was a canon event for her maturing.
Update 3. Hey all, many of you have been messaging me for an update. I'm so sorry. It's been a while. I never log into this account. So if you haven't seen the previous posts, I'll link them below. First post was here on the group. Second was on my profile. Laura had the wedding. It was before the second lockdown and out in our family's farm with about maybe 50 people that showed. Carrie wore the dress she chose because Laura caved and then wore the tiara thing she picked out. So she still was a little brat.
Oh my gosh.
Days before the wedding, Carrie made Facebook posts directed at me, just statuses saying stuff like, can't believe my own family would be so toxic and bully me. Stuff like that.
What?
Well,
so
we were
eventually I blocked her. Good. Honestly, nothing too out there happened during the wedding. Carrie got wasted and tried to sing and dance and make the attention fall on her. Of course, but nothing overly out there. Gave me the cold shoulder big time, and if I would enter the room, she would announce that she can't be around negative energy, then leave, dragging her boyfriend with her. Her boyfriend proposed to her? After all of that, Noah? After all of that, you were like, I'm going to double down.
Okay, Noah, you're the a-hole.
You're the
We
a-hole.
do not propose at weddings unless it's approved by the bride and groom. But we do not propose at other people's weddings.
I don't think that he proposed at the wedding. I think it was just like well, let's actually read. Let's make sure.
Yeah, read it. But a-hole. You know what?
My assumption was that he just like proposed later. Her boyfriend proposed to her and texted me asking if I would please try to make up things with her and help plan the wedding. I don't think he proposed at the wedding.
He didn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he just proposed, but I think he's still the a-hole to himself.
Oh, yeah.
I told him I was sorry, but I still wanted to be his friend. I just can't have her in my life. He told me he was sorry and hopes we one day reconcile. Haven't spoken to Carrie in months, but Laura is doing good and they still keep in touch. Mom, ew. Mom and my stepdad have been silent and I've just been keeping my distance as well. I don't have any of them on Facebook anymore, but Laura keeps me in the loop. Anyways, not much else has happened. Not a very exciting update, but thanks everyone for the support. And we would love if you support us on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap our profile every weekday at 3 p.m. PST.
Just do it. Easy money.
Just tap it.
Keon, can you
live
check
right
and see if there's another update?
Well, there's an edit.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe there's another update that happened.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because this happened during the virus time, so
Yeah, so maybe there's more.
we've had some time to cook.
I'll check right now.
On those of you saying, I shouldn't have told Noah I think Carrie is bipolar, you're probably right. I want to say I never meant it in a malicious way. My good friend is bipolar and recently started taking medication. I began noticing similar outbursts and trace between the two of them, and it was my friend who suggested Carrie might be. I brought it up to Noah because I wondered, since he's in the medical field, if he would have any knowledge or be able to convince her to see someone. I am in no way judging anyone who is bipolar. Also, I in no way claim that I'm the victim or 100% innocent in this. Of course, I've had my own arguments with Carrie beforehand and during this, so I know she's not the bad guy here. I usually try to stay out of any outburst her or my mom has had in the past. And that is the end of that story.
I think we got more.
I'm checking right
And
now.
we're checking
Keon
if
is
there's
checking
more.
right now.
But man, oh man,
Like
this girl sucks.
Kimberly Fine says Carrie gets dropped off at an Amish community. She's got to go back to square one and beat Darwin like a pilgrim.
She has to beat.
That's her punishment. Yeah. I want to know what happens to the mom though, and the stepdad.
I want to know if like the doctors were like, hey, she's fine or whatever. Like, what happened there?
And I think the stepdad, he broke it off.
I think they've been fighting a lot, but I'm a little bit confused because it seems like they've been fighting a lot about this wedding, which implies that there is a lack of agreement on something here. So I'm wondering if maybe the mom is on Carrie's side and the stepdad is not.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
On top of that, who's ponying up all the money?
That's true.
You think he's a
Where's
little sick?
Where's this 2K coming?
Yeah. Think he's kind of
2K
sick
dress.
about it. He's like, man, I don't want to keep paying for all this.
He's like, this is ridiculous.
And
Cut her off.
And she's like, no, but it's my kids. Come on.
The little pink
There's no
dress.
real update, unfortunately.
No real update?
What OP does is like
Dang.
reply to some of the comments. So one, they had a baby,
Slay.
the sister,
Congrats.
and it was a girl.
Oh.
Slay.
And then OP herself eloped with her fiance,
Slay.
and they're having, I think, a kid too.
Nice.
Makes sense why she would elope.
But that's
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I found. Like that she's replying to the comments, like, "Oh, what else has happened?" She's like, "Oh, thanks for the support. That's nothing else." Like,
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that's good. OP
Okay.
gets her a happy ending.
I'm still
Yeah.
just double checking if there's anything else.
Okay.
But
Noted.
no
Thank
other
you,
big
Keon,
updates.
for your
You're
research.
welcome.
That's big.
Yeah.
But let me keep
Dang.
looking. No,
Yeah,
it's just
man.
OP literally
Oh.
just replying to comments of like, yeah, like
Okay.
don't like be too mean, and like thanks for the support, and like everyone appreciate y'all and standing by and understanding, and like, yes, my family's weird and sucks, but that's about
Dude,
it.
This
Yeah.
woman would make me want to pull my hair out. I wouldn't even know what to do with the siblings.
Well, neither
man.
would I. I'd be like, how do I even talk to you? You're
Yeah.
just exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Man, but that is the end of that story. Stella Hirschman 24 says, yeah, bipolar and borderline personality share symptoms, but this definitely leans towards BPD. Kimberly Fine says, put her on the Oregon Trail. Yeah, let her get some dysentery. Classic. Honeybee85 says, Mom and Carrie are both manipulative bees. Yeah, they
But-
definitely taught.
Do you think Carrie got a little bit of a wake up call?
It doesn't seem like
I
it.
was hopeful.
It
I
seems-
thought I
yeah,
saw
it seems
something.
like she's realized that you can stress out pregnant women, and that's it. That is the only thing that she's
Well,
realized.
she called for her mom to be checked up on too.
Yeah, I
I
mean, at
wish-
least she doesn't. She's not heartless.
I wish we had
Yeah.
more of like the wedding. Like, this was
Yeah.
like,
She got drunk at the wedding, and that's all we
I
know.
just want to know what happened at the wedding. Yeah,
I-
like she made it all about me, but like what?
Yeah,
I
what
think
wanted
the
that
wedding turned out
tea.
fine.
it seems so.
It seemed like
I
the
wanna
wedding
know
turned out
what she's what she's
okay.
saying.
Yeah. And if there's no other updates, the stepdad and mom probably worked it out too.
They got to have, yeah. They would have mentioned that.
Dang, I don't
Yeah.
know how I feel about stepdad.
I don't know. Like, it was really hard for them to contact him when he was when OP's mom was in the hospital. Suspicious.
He seemed non-confrontational,
Yeah,
and whenever the mom was going cuckoo, he
was just absent.
he just left. He's like, I can't deal
Yeah.
with this.
Suspicious.
But when you got money like that,
I guess you can do whatever you
you
want.
can do it. You can go get a hotel, do whatever you
Yeah.
want, man.
Ugly old bat says, think Carrie will wear her prom dress for her own wedding.
Probably.
Maybe
Yeah.
that pink dress.
Ooh,
Get some-
dude.
She better wear that pink dress more than once, because $2K for a dress is crazy.
Like, based on the time here, I know that Carrie has definitely got married by now, and I want to know how much money the stepdad had
Yeah, did
pony
he
up.
give? Because
for
he
that.
was offering $10K to Laura. I bet Carrie was like, I want $20K.
No,
So-
50. I'm thinking 50.
$50K.
So getting
Easy.
I got
Okay.
a little bit more of details on the wedding, at least.
Okay.
It's just again OP saying like,
Go for it.
I'm okay, I'm feeling great. Laura has always been like that, non-confrontational, but she did stand her ground, like we knew. And in the end, OP was the maid of honor, even though that allowed Carrie to wear her prom dress and tiara. So it seems like she did get to wear that at the wedding.
Gotta wear a little pink dress.
No, she wore her blue dress. She was gonna buy a pink dress.
No, she bought the pink 2K dress.
Oh, I thought she
Yeah,
wore
no,
her
no.
prom dress that
no,
was
she
blue.
was gotta wear a prom dress, and then they were like, "No, that doesn't fit you."
Yeah,
and then
She wore
when
the
they were
dress,
having that
yeah.
whole argument, she
She-
went and bought.
she wore the pink dress.
2K
like
dress.
her pink
Oh, she bought
tutu.
the pink dress.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that is the end of that story. And the end of this episode.
So, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.